Well, good morning, everybody. I am Kimberly Roberts. It's a joy to welcome you here to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Harford County. And joining me this morning is our beloved Brenna Kupperman back from Brazil. So glad you can make it. We gather each Sunday morning on site and online to share in life's meaning, to grow in care and community, and open our hearts and our minds to the sacred truth known by many names. We gather in community to restore the balance of our spirits, to celebrate the joys of life, and find the strength to meet our sorrows. And in the earliest meaning of the word worship, to consider ideas that are worthy of our time and attention. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values diversity and embraces the wisdom of all faiths. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's mystery and meaning. And in this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike. Whatever your heritage, however your history, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Thank you. Our chalice lighting this morning is by Reverend Michelle Collins. We light this chalice, a spark in the darkness, kindling the embers of imagination within us. May its flame ignite wonder, fuel dreams of justice, and illuminate the path toward what could be. So our theme this month is imagination. And we're going to begin with these words by the Reverend Michelle Collins. Here we are together, bearers of imagination, creators of new worlds. It is our imagination that lifts us beyond despair, that whispers, "What if?" and dares us to answer. Today we gather to renew that spark, to embrace the power, to dream. Come, let us imagine boldly and worship together. And then if you would, please rise in body or spirit or remain seated, whichever is most comfortable for you. And we'll be singing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of spare. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Each Sunday, we invite those gathered here to support the mission of this congregation by offering a financial contribution. With love at the center, members here care for one another and extend that care into the wider community through actions for equity and justice, which, no matter how small, work toward the transformation of this world. Our fellowship intentionally welcomes the pluralism of theological beliefs as members seek to learn and grow, acknowledging our interdependence as we help each other towards deeper understanding. Financial contributions allow this congregation to reach out to all who seek a life-affirming message of love and hope. So if you're online, you can click the link in the Zoom chat to contribute, and if you're on site, you can place a donation in the baskets, which I'll be passing around, or you can use your device and go to uufhc.net and click the donation link right on the home page. There are two links, one for your pledges and just one for general offerings. And whatever method that you choose, please know that your generosity helps us to imagine a healthier, more joyful UU community, and in keeping with our religious heritage, to draw the circle of love and justice just a little bit wider.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, wanna change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it, want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Everything I need to know, I learned from a Star Wars Little Golden Book. Written by Jeff Smith. Does it feel like the weight of the galaxy is on your shoulders? Are you being pulled in a direction that you don't want to go? Does it seem as if the walls are closing in and nobody understands you, even though you speak more than 6 million different languages? Maybe you're not feeling your best, like you're staring down the throat of the Sarlacc, and the odds of survival are 3,720 to 1, because no matter where you are, on a desert planet or a frosty world of ice, there will always be dark times. Foes may appear when you least expect them, and trusted confidants may turn against you. Dangers might block your way, and there will be monstrous challenges. Escapes may be rocky, and safety can be fleeting. You might find yourself thinking, I've got a bad feeling about this, or it's a trap. When life seems cold and lonely, hang in there, don't back down, and never give up on your dreams. If you believe that anything is possible, there are distant worlds and amazing adventures awaiting you. You may encounter noble knights or swashbuckling scoundrels, and you can be a hero, or rescue yourself. But no matter how huge and overwhelming the galaxy may seem, always remember, size matters not. Little droids can do big things. A small child can save the day. Little friends can help you win great victories. Even tiny babies can hold a galaxy of hope. Always believe in yourself and look inward. Stay on target, because no matter how impossible a problem seems, it will have a solution if you look closely. In fact, the biggest obstacles often have the simplest answers. Success will eventually be yours. You will get your just rewards. But don't get cocky, kid, because one moment you're riding high on a tauntaun, and the next moment you could be wampa food. And on those days when nothing is going right, don't get frustrated, stay balanced, and let the force flow through you. Because fear and anger can lead to the dark side. The dark side may seem impressive, but what you will gain will not compare to what will be taken from you. Once you kneel before the dark side, it only leads to destruction and hopelessness. But even in the midst of darkness, goodness can be found, and no one is beyond saving. Friends are never far away. There will always be someone to offer you wisdom, inspire you with a good story, or show you the way, because every trip is better with a good co-pilot. And every challenge easier with a buddy by your side. Create an alliance with someone special, and make the jump to light speed. Friends and family will stand by you, and the Force will be with you always. Thank you for joining Mrs. Lindsay for Everything I Need to Know I Learned from a Star Wars Little Golden Book, written by Jeff Smith. I can't wait.
Now's the time to briefly share a joy or a sorrow or a gratitude, something that you carry deeply within your heart this morning. If you're on site in the sanctuary, please come to the front and speak into the microphone, and we will light a candle for you. And if you are on Zoom, please use the chat function to share. And Brenna, can you read that aloud? Okay, and then we'll light a candle for you. And a few gentle reminders, this is not a time for announcements or politics, as difficult as that is. Please say your first name, and if you would please share from your heart and your own experience, and be mindful not to share for anybody else unless you have their express permission to do so. So would anyone like to share with us this morning? Our reading is from The Possibility in Impossibility by Nikta Gill from her book Wild Embers, Poems of Rebellion, Fire, and Beauty. Yesterday, you spoke to me about impossibilities and how certain relationships, lives, and moments were just not destined to be. For you, I collected these in hope that if you do not trust me, at least you will believe these facts from the galaxies. On Venus, and yes, I know you'll find this bizarre, it snows in metal and rains in sulfuric acid, and a teaspoon of a dancing neutron star weighs more than everyone together in this world. What I'm trying to say, my darling, is that I know you said you wouldn't survive this day, but across our beautiful universe, what is impossible is happening every day. So I'm going to be sharing a sermon this morning from the Reverend Sarah Smalley, and when I say I mean Sarah. So Sarah will be speaking. After much grappling with the state of the world and analyzing the words of activists, pundits, and theologians, here's a working thesis statement for what comes next. 2025 is the year of the return of the Jedi. It just makes sense. The first Death Star was destroyed. The Empire always fights back, because the Death Star was only a symptom, not the cause. And now they're building another, bigger, more effective Death Star. It's time for the Rebel Alliance to unite and fight. And for those who did not have the equivalent life experience of pretending to have lightsaber battles on the rocky shoreline of Lake Superior or whatever neighborhood you grew up in, while pretending to be Princess Leia in 1982, in other words, those of any generation who are not huge Star Wars fans, a reminder of important plot points. Stick with me and see if you recognize some parallels here. Star Wars: A New Hope was released in 1977. This was the earliest of the Star Wars movies, although it was technically number 4 in a series of 9. And we always join a story that's already in progress. In it, a scrappy band of rebels discovers that the Empire has built a Death Star, a gigantic space station armed with a planet-destroying super laser. This band of rebels must destroy the Death Star before it destroys worlds. And spoiler alert, they do. Near the end of the movie, the scrappy team of rebels, led by Luke Skywalker, destroys the Death Star. Luke uses the Force, his own true knowing, connected to all true knowing, to guide his movements, forsaking technology and the voices yelling at him, and he successfully deals a death blow to the Death Star. The Death Star is destroyed, and the Empire is defeated. There is much rejoicing. In the next episode, The Empire Strikes Back, we learn some hard truths. The hero and the villain, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, share the same bloodline. There's something in both of their DNA that is both Death Star and wild and free. And then comes Return of the Jedi. The Empire is building another Death Star, this one bigger, more powerful, more deadly than the last. Fear grips the galaxy. What could destroy such a massive ender of worlds? The Rebel Alliance, of course. A diverse resistance movement that never backed down despite overwhelming odds. They restored democracy to the galaxy. And in case it's not clear, let me draw the parallels explicitly. The first episode with the Death Star bent on destroying worlds was the first of the 2 Trump presidencies. We can do politics here now. Though the story of white supremacy and greed had been in process for a very long time before that election. The second episode was the past 4 years, when we could not ignore some hard truths during the pandemic about how we really are all one global family, but do not always act like it. There was a new administration in charge, but the Empire still had much power. And in 2025, is the return of the Jedi friends. They're building a bigger and more powerful Death Star, and we're building a bigger and more powerful Rebel Alliance. I'm using us and them language, but I want to be very clear that when using this metaphor, I don't mean we should think of other human beings as the enemy to be demonized and condemned. And I don't mean they are part of white supremacy and patriarchy, and we don't also have those lessons embedded in us. Us and them are helpful terms, though, when they help clarify who we are working with and who we are working against. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more. It matters that we find our people and that each day we mean one more. But there is no us and them in the interdependent web. There's a difference between an opponent and an enemy, Dr. Shante Holly says. An opponent wants you to lose, but an enemy wants you to suffer. I want all that is opposed to justice and liberation to lose, but our enemy is the Death Star of oppression. It wants us to suffer because then we are easier to control. Our enemy is the systems and structures that empire has built not only around us, but within us. Sometimes we believe the lies we are told when they're all that we know. The Death Star is built with the overlapping oppressions of patriarchy, white supremacy, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, and extractive capitalism that exploits workers and the earth, and that results in extreme wealth disparities and destruction of the planet. This Death Star has pointed its laser beam at us for so long that, as Frederick Jameson says, it's easier for us to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. But the real world Rebel Alliance we're building is not a scrappy group of ragamuffins in over our heads. Within and beyond Unitarian Universalism, we are building a powerful coalition of allies, imperfect, but growing every day. We are artists and scientists, IT professionals and gig economy workers, CEOs and union members, retirees and college students. In our coalition, there are atheists, humanists, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, mystics, pagans, and more. We are policy wonks with political science degrees and crystal-toting dreamers with imagination. We're not wielders of endings. We are creators of justice. We are builders of a new way. We continue. I feel so much more powerful and determined channeling this collective energy. When I'm alone, I'm afraid, despondent, defeated, deflated. But when I give up any false belief I can go it alone, I feel my courage rising and new possibilities shimmer. If you're not there yet, that's okay too. If these times when we're already seeing how dangerous it is now for immigrants and transgender people and more, if you're still overwhelmed by grief, disbelief, or fear, take your time. Your feelings are valid. If you have no capacity right now to do anything but survive, survival is your most important and only task. If you're not ready for hope yet, that's okay. Others here will hold hope for you. As Reverend Karen Johnston says, I will try to be brave, and if you're not feeling brave, you can have some of mine. And if I'm not feeling brave, I will borrow some of yours. We will add our brave together, add it all up, so that our brave together light will outshine the shadow. Ethicist and scholar Sharon Welch calls this brave together light generative interdependence. In her words, generative interdependence happens in a community that fully values diversity and connection, that nurtures creativity and scientific rigor, and that embodies responsibility for others and the freedom to find new and better ways of living out and creating expansive human communities of connection, respect, and cooperation. Reverend Gretchen Haley summarizes Sharon Welch's generative interdependence this way: It is the creative dynamic born of all of us being in this together. The creative dynamic energy born of all of us being in this together. There is something magical that happens in communities of generative interdependence. Sharon Welth is the author of The Feminist Ethic of Risk. She was the provost of Meadville Lombard Theological School and a Unitarian Universalist. And before I explain what she means by the feminist ethic of risk, I want to explain what she argues is its opposite. It's the ethic of control. An ethic of control means this: we take action in order to gain a certain result. It's the results we're focusing on, and so our actions are guided by a desire to control the outcome. This means we don't act unless we feel assured we know what the outcome will be. An ethic of control saves us from ambiguity. It's easier to imagine the end of the world than the healing of the climate crisis, so why even try? If we have to know we will win before we start, why even start? Despair makes a lot more sense than hope. The Death Star is just too big. Welch describes a main problem with this ethic of control. It's that it results in a middle-class failure of nerve, the inability to persist in resistance when the problems are seen in their full magnitude. Reverend Emily Dettar explains it this way. Welch is lamenting middle-class despair, a trend that she sees in people of a particular privilege who at first fight for justice for all people, but when faced with the magnitude of injustice and the overwhelming nature of oppression, begin to despair and give up their activism. As a white woman, she reflects that for marginalized communities, they can't afford the luxury of despair because they're always fighting for their own rights and freedoms, whether or not they believe they will actually ever be able to achieve them. An ethic of control asks, is the outcome sure enough that I am willing to work for it? An ethic of risk, on the other hand, asks, what improbable task with which unpredictable results will we undertake today? What improbable task with which unpredictable results will we undertake today? An ethic of risk calls us to take responsible action even if we are hopeless. The point is the action, not the hope. Responsible action does not mean the certain achievement of desired ends, says Welch, but the creation of a matrix in which further actions are possible. We are creating a matrix in which further actions are possible. It's a commitment to action over analysis, generative interdependence over rugged individualism, a never-ending process of possibilities rather than a focus on guaranteed results. An ethic of control asks, what is the desired outcome and is it achievable? If the desired outcome is the end of the climate crisis, we get stuck. If we have no idea if it's achievable, we don't take action, and this is a failure of nerve because we value control more than justice. An ethic of risks asks, where is love calling me next? Not what does authority want me to do, not what is fear telling me is true, but where is love calling me next? And then actually heeding the answer. There are no sure outcomes when we let capital L love lead. It's scary. Capital L love gently but insistently invites us to let go of perfectionism and ego. It challenges us to prioritize truth over politeness, compassion over indifference, and justice over comfort. We give up control, but we gain connection. We continue to struggle, and there will never be an end to it, but we continue. It may be clear by now that an ethic of risk takes a kind of moral courage that an ethic of control does not. An ethic of risk demands a deep commitment to ethical action even when it's difficult. And I want to right-size what I mean by risk. This isn't about being reckless or impulsive or haphazardly choosing ineffectual actions. It's quite the opposite. It's about the kind of strategizing and organizing that creates a matrix in which further actions are possible. It's about taking responsible actions that might be uncomfortable, even if you don't know if they're going to work. For some of us, it might be uncomfortable just calling your senator and letting them know what we think. It might not work. By trying, we put ourselves out there to be disappointed. An ethic of risk tells us, do it anyway. We can practice an ethic of risk in other ways as well. Reaching out to someone for a hard conversation, even if we don't know what the response will be. Taking the first shaky baby step towards healing, even if full healing feels like a distant possibility. Risk giving yourself over to joy. And when we gather in communities of generative interdependence, and each day we mean one more, when our brave together light keeps getting brighter and brighter, this ethic of risk calls us collectively to care and act, although there are no guarantees of success. What improbable task with which unpredictable results will we undertake today, Sharon Welch asks. An ethic of risk tells us to simply do the next right thing, over and over again. We will honor our grief. We will cultivate our joy. We will let trauma move through us instead of living within us. We will provide sanctuary to weary souls and threatened bodies. We will not obey in advance. What improbable task with which unpredictable results will we undertake today, asks Welch. And then she quotes Tony Cade, Bambara, urging that our answer is fueled by sheer holy boldness. We will do improbable tasks with sheer holy boldness. And let's not forget this, since the ethic's a feminine ethic. Return of the Jedi is also about the episode where Princess Leia takes power or overpowers Jabba the Hutt, the slug who imprisoned and objectified her, and she broke free of those patriarchal chains. A woman's place is also in the resistance. So rise up, women and femmes, we've got monsters to slay. And rise up, Rebel Alliance, keepers of hope, brave builders of this still possible world. We have the Death Star of oppression to defeat, and love's unstoppable force is with us. So may it be. Our benediction today by David Breeden. May you live life curious. May you rejoice in the process. May you let go of the rage for control. May you feel the flame and live well. May you every day reimagine reality's map. May you keep exploring even those dark places. May you rejoice in the unknown. And may you hug uncertainty to you tight. May you live life joyous. May you see and find the miraculous. May you continuously notice gratitude. And may you love the messiness. May you love yourself. May you love all you love well. And may the force be with you. If you would, in your order of service, we have a chalice extinguishing that we're going to read together in unison. Though the flame is extinguished, the embers of imagination remain. Carry them forward, dream boldly, act with love, and kindle new flames in the world.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I'll know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable, the unreachable, the unreachable star. And I always dream the impossible dream. Yes, then I'll reach the unreachable, the unreachable star.
Was beautiful. I have a couple announcements for you. First of all, I want to welcome back two people we haven't seen in a long time. Denver Weil is back there. Hi. And Ken Stranger, all the way from Australia. It's nice to have you back too. And I think I see some new faces. So all visitors and old members, we're dying for you to stay and have coffee and fellowship with us and coffee. So please do. And I wanted to remind everybody, next week, May 11th, is where it's a special all ages service, but it's also going to be our flower communion. So please bring a flower to share for that if you can. At 1:30 today, we have a memorial service. So if you're planning to stay for that, but just plan to be back by 1:30 for that. And I think that is it for today. Are there any other announcements that anyone has? And next week there will not be potluck because it is Mother's Day. So I think they're going to bump it by 1 week. Yep, it's postponed until 5/18, so save your dishes until 5/18. All right, thank you very much.